In a world that never stops speaking, silence has become rare, almost forgotten. Yet, silence is not emptiness, it is a sacred bridge, a pathway that connects the soul to the divine. When the noise of the world quiets down, a deeper voice begins to rise, the voice of your spirit, the whisper of God, the guidance of the universe. Silence is not absence, it is presence, a presence more powerful than words. In silence, your heart begins to hear what the mind could never explain. This journey will take us into the heart of silence, showing us how every pause, every still moment, is an invitation from the divine to step closer, to listen deeper, and to awaken fully. Silence is not weakness, it is strength. In our fast-paced world, silence is often mistaken for emptiness, yet silence is full of wisdom, peace, and connection. It is within silence that we feel the subtle heartbeat of the universe. Every ancient mystic, saint, and seeker found their answers not in endless words but in deep silence. The soul already knows the way, it is the noise of the world that blinds us. When you turn inward and embrace stillness, you begin to dissolve the illusions of chaos and reconnect with truth. In silence, your energy realigns, your heart softens, and your spirit remembers its eternal nature. Silence becomes the invisible bridge that allows you to step into divine presence without fear. Silence is not weakness, it is strength. In our fast-paced world, silence is often mistaken for emptiness, yet silence is full of wisdom, peace, and connection. It is within silence that we feel the subtle heartbeat of the universe. Every ancient mystic, saint, and seeker found their answers not in endless words but in deep silence. The soul already knows the way, it is the noise of the world that blinds us. When you turn inward and embrace stillness, you begin to dissolve the illusions of chaos and reconnect with truth. In silence, your energy realigns, your heart softens, and your spirit remembers its eternal nature. Silence becomes the invisible bridge that allows you to step into divine presence without fear. The mind is a restless ocean, waves of thoughts rising and crashing endlessly, but beneath those waves lies calm, still waters. Silence is the practice of diving beneath the surface, into the stillness where divine whispers can be heard. When the mind quiets, the heart becomes a vessel of guidance. In silence, clarity arises naturally, without force. The divine does not compete with noise, it speaks in the softest tones, waiting for us to be still enough to hear. When you breathe deeply, release control, and rest in silence, the worries of tomorrow fade, and the light of truth gently reveals itself. Silence does not take you away from life, it brings you closer to its essence. Long ago, a young monk entered a monastery in search of truth. He asked his teacher, "How will I hear the voice of God?" The teacher simply smiled and asked him to sit in silence for 1 year. The monk struggled at first, his mind restless, his heart impatient. Days turned to months, and slowly the noise within him began to fade. At the end of the year, he approached his teacher once again and said, "I have heard nothing." The teacher asked, "When you sat in silence, what did you feel?" The monk replied, "I felt peace, I felt love, I felt connected to everything." The teacher whispered, "That was the voice of God." Sometimes, silence is not about hearing words, it is about experiencing presence. Silence carries healing beyond measure. When you allow yourself to sit in stillness, the body relaxes, the mind slows, and the heart opens. Every breath in silence becomes medicine for the soul. Ancient traditions knew this, that silence restores balance where words fail. In silence, you are reminded that you are not broken, you are whole. You begin to sense the divine wrapping around you like a gentle embrace. Silence removes the heavy layers of stress and fear, revealing the light that was always within you. To rest in silence is to allow yourself to be renewed. Each pause becomes a sacred act of self-love, each moment of quiet a healing prayer to the universe. The universe moves in rhythms, night becomes day, tides rise and fall, seasons shift. Silence is your way of aligning with this natural flow. When you sit in silence, you feel yourself becoming part of a greater rhythm, the heartbeat of creation itself. Silence teaches patience, reminding us that everything has its time. It clears the clutter of ego and allows your spirit to dance with divine timing. You realize that the universe does not rush, yet everything unfolds perfectly. Silence connects you to this harmony, dissolving resistance and awakening trust. To be silent is to remember, you are already one with the universe. God is not hidden in noise but revealed in stillness. The sacred is not far, it waits in the silence of your heart. When you close your eyes, breathe deeply, and listen beyond thought, you find a presence that has always been with you. Silence allows the divine to speak, not in words, but in love, in peace, in the certainty that you are never alone. Every still moment becomes prayer, every pause becomes communion. In silence, you discover that the bridge between you and God was never broken. It only needed your presence to walk across it. There was once a sage known across villages for his wisdom. People would travel long distances with questions, yet whenever they arrived, the sage simply smiled and remained silent. Some grew frustrated and left, but those who stayed in silence with him began to notice something miraculous. In his presence, their hearts grew calm, their questions faded, and answers rose from within themselves. One day, a seeker asked, "Why do you never speak?" The sage replied softly, "Because silence speaks louder than words. In silence, you discover the truth you already carry." His lesson was eternal, silence itself is the greatest teacher. Silence is not just for temples or mountains, it is for daily life. You do not need hours of meditation to touch the divine, just a few moments of silence each day can build the bridge. Begin with your breath, with a pause before you speak, with a quiet walk beneath the sky. Allow silence to enter ordinary moments. In time, you will see that silence is not something you visit, it is something you carry within. Wherever you go, the bridge to the divine is already with you, waiting for you to step onto it. Silence is not emptiness, it is fullness, a fullness that connects you to God, to the universe, and to your own soul. When you honor silence, you honor the divine within you. The bridge of silence is always there, built of breath, stillness, and surrender. Step onto it, and you will find that every answer you have been seeking was already waiting in the quiet. Let silence guide you home, for in silence, the divine is always speaking. As we end this journey, remember, silence is not a void, it is a presence. Every time you choose silence over noise, you are stepping closer to the divine. You are not separate, you are already connected. The bridge is within you. Walk it with trust, and you will find peace beyond measure.